this is Mark Spitz with Spitz Legal Counsel in Denver. I want to talk today about the steps that any entrepreneur should be following when forming a new limited liability company. In another video, I'll talk about the advantages of a limited liability company versus a corporation and which type of entity you would want to choose. But today I want to talk about forming a limited liability company because most businesses formed nowadays by entrepreneurs and small business people start out as limited liability companies. So what is the first thing that you want to think about? The first thing is the name of the company. What name do you want? If you want to name your limited liability company, your LLC, Coca-Cola or Ford, that name's taken. You're probably not going to be able to form a new LLC with that name. What you can do is go on the website of the Colorado Secretary of State if you're forming your LLC in Colorado, or the Secretary of State website for whatever state you're looking at, and check the name availability. You put in the name of the company that you want, and the website should tell you if the name is available. If you aren't ready to form the LLC yet, you can actually pay a small fee to reserve that name for a period of time. However, let's say you're ready to begin and you want to go forward. You need to prepare what's called articles of organization. In some states, it might be called a certificate of organization. That is the document that you file with the state to form the LLC. So you need information about the address of the company. Is it going to be managed by a member or a manager? And we'll talk about that in some other videos. You want to include the registered agent. And the registered agent is required by law, and that is a person or an entity which can accept service of legal documents from the state or somebody who might be filing suit against the company, and it's a known address and known person to whom those can be filed, and then it will make its way to you. Now, you can be your own registered agent, your attorney can be your registered agent, or you can hire a professional registered agent service, and there are many of those in every state in the United States, and that may cost anywhere from $99 or $100 to $150 a year. But you have to have that, and that information has to be on the Articles of Organization. So then you go ahead and you file those with the Secretary of State, and your LLC exists. It's formed. They will provide you with a file-stamped copy of the Articles of Organization, and you certainly want to download or print out a copy of that and keep it. It's a key document for your LLC. Then what you want to do is go onto the IRS website and file for a tax ID number. This is something you should do even if you're a single member LLC and the income will just pass through to your personal income tax return. You want to have that federal tax ID number. It's very easy to do on the IRS website, and you just file that, and it will provide a letter as soon as you complete the process. Then, as I've mentioned in one of my previous videos, you want to have an operating agreement. Even if you're a single member LLC, certainly if you have more than one member, you want to have an operating agreement. Check out that video. I go into a lot of detail about why you want to have the operating agreement. Take it from me here. It's really important to have for a number of reasons related to the management of the company, putting restrictions on the transfer of membership interest, and my next step, getting a bank account. You're going to want to have a bank account for the LLC separate from your own personal bank account. This helps protect you from personal liability by showing you're treating the LLC as a separate entity. So once you've selected your bank, you need to take the tax ID number, the Articles of Organization, and sometimes the operating agreement. Some banks require it to open the bank account, others don't. They may want to see it because the operating agreement will show that you have the authority to open that bank account. So that's another good reason to have an operating agreement. Once you have your bank account, treat it separately from your personal bank account and document transactions in and out of that account very carefully and accurately. Another thing you may want to do is consider filing for S-Corp tax treatment. I don't want to go into a lot of detail there. There are some advantages in doing that, and I'll talk about that in a future video. Finally, if you're going to have employees, which you may at some point, either from the start or down the road, it's a good idea to either find an accountant who can run your payroll or a payroll service. And there's a lot of payroll companies that provide payroll services, withholding, remitting the withheld amounts, and so on to tax authorities for small companies. You don't have to go with a large company. There are plenty that provide that service very capably to small companies. So these are reasons why you want to be careful and be very intentional about forming your new LLC. These are steps you want to follow. As I mentioned, I've gone into some of these in earlier videos, and I'll talk about some of these issues, such as which kind of entity to choose in a future video. Again, if you have questions, feel free to contact me, Mark Spitz, at Spitz Legal Counsel in Denver, and my email and phone number will show up at the end of the video. Thanks a lot, and I look forward to future videos.